Hello and welcome to Gate of Theories. It is coming to that time of year where it's the end of the year, but it's also the end of the decade. So today we thought we'd have a look back at every year of this decade and pick one movie that we think was the best of that year. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into this. But before we do that, if you are new here and wouldn't mind clicking that subscribe button, that'd be awesome, as we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible and every little helps. But without further ado, let's get straight on with the video. Our pick for 2010 is the classic, one of the greatest animated films of all time in many people's opinions. The best film probably in this franchise of films. It is, of course, we're going for Toy Story 3 as our 2010 pick. This beautiful film probably should have been where Toy Story left it off in my personal opinion, but was a class film to start off the decade with. Toy Story 3 was a really good story, had really great animation for the time, it is a classic Pixar film, and so for us that has to be the 2010 pick. There's a lot of good films came out in 2010, but for us Toy Story 3 would be the one that if you had to watch just one film from that year, it would have been that film to watch. Moving on to 2011, our top pick for 2011 was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. It had to be, didn't it? That was probably the greatest franchise other than maybe Star Wars at the time that had come out. Obviously the MCU nowadays is pretty much the biggest franchise in the film industry with Star Wars. But Harry Potter at the time, the end of the saga, the end of his time at Hogwarts, the end of what we'd all really grown up with as a movie franchise, as a book series, and this was the last one. So it obviously had to be. It was huge at the time. I remember going to see it on the day it was released. It's a great film. It's got all you want. It's got some magic. It's got the person who we must not name, Voldemort, in it. It's got Harry Potter. It was the end of the saga. It was the end of Harry Potter. Yes, they've now brought out Fantastic Beasts series since then, and obviously there's been theatre shows of other bits, but as the Harry Potter franchise, at the time, that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end of the book series. That was the end. That was the Harry Potter world done. And so obviously that has to have our 2011 pick. And it's a great movie as well. So if you haven't watched that one, go watch it. So that picked for our 2011. In 2012, we went for Life of Pi. Now, if you haven't seen Life of Pi, it is a really good film. Mainly because of the storyline. It's a nice storyline, but also it's a really good film because of its award-winning CGI for the tiger on the boat. If you don't know, there is a tiger that Life of Pi travels with on this boat that he didn't realise. And actually the animation team on the movie made this by studying a tiger for a year and then matching it up. And the CGI at the time, like, you gotta think, like, now obviously it's a lot easier, more and more companies do it. We've now got Disney doing blimmin' Lion King live action, which is basically what this sort of started, like this really realistic animation of animals, but it was really like groundbreaking stuff at the time. The movie won loads of awards. The Life of Pi had to get our 2012 pick. Our 2013 pick had to go to a film that won 3 Oscars. Was a groundbreaking story, had heartbreak moments in it, and really gave a great reflection of the hard times that people faced in the past, and that is, of course, 12 Years a Slave. The movie is absolutely phenomenal in all aspects, from the special effects they use in it to the story itself. The acting is brilliant. It obviously had to have our pick for 2013. I couldn't think of any other film that I would rather pick there. If there was one movie you watch in 2013, that was the movie 12 Years a Slave. It is still probably one of the greatest movies ever made and deserves all the awards it got. It's had over 200 awards in different categories. It's won 3 Oscars. This movie deserves the praise and credit it got. So for our 2013 pick, it had to be 12 Years a Slave. Moving on to 2014, it's about time I put my favourite director on this list. Of course, he is Christopher Nolan. So his film in 2014 was the brilliant Interstellar. Interstellar is a fantastic film. If you have not seen it, definitely recommend you go and see it. The film has won lots of awards. It has some groundbreaking story. It also actually predicted what a black hole looked like properly before we actually got a picture of it. So recently they took a picture of the black hole and it looked like the simulation that they ran so they could make the black hole look in Interstellar. And in actual fact, in most science books, textbooks across the world at the minute, if you see a black hole in it, it probably isn't the one of the actual black hole because it doesn't look very good. It's probably the Interstellar concept drawing of it, which is fantastic. The special effects in the movie are great. The storyline is great. It's Christopher Nolan. What's not to love? So for our 2014 pick, we've gone for Interstellar. 2015, there was always going to only be one pick for me. It was the return of the great franchise itself, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It was a great movie. I mean, it is New Hope 2.0, but it is still a great movie, and released the new saga of Star Wars that is coming to an end this year, unfortunately. It's been a great trilogy again, but this was the one that kicked it off. We got introduced to Rey, we got introduced to Snoke, we got introduced to Ben Solo, who is Kylo Ren. We got introduced to, we saw, unfortunately, some characters go. There was good to see Luke again in it, Han, Princess Leia. It was classic. It was a combination that the whole family could watch, generations could watch of it, and be part of that Star Wars universe again. And it was brought back, and J.J. Abrams did a brilliant job. They haven't quite gone so well after this one so far. I'm hoping 9 will redeem the trilogy itself, but we had to pick Star Wars. It's one of the biggest franchises in the world, and so we're going to have to do that. 2016 pick. Honourable mention we're going to put in here would have been Rogue One, because I love Rogue One, and I thought Rogue One was a much better film than Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and was one of the best films I saw that year, and is probably one of my favourite Star Wars films. However, I'm not going to pick that one for our 2016 pick. Our 2016 pick, I'm going to go with the film I, Daniel Blake. If you have not seen I, Daniel Blake, I 100% recommend it, although I would say bring a box of tissues when you go and watch it. If you get it on DVD, make sure you have a box of tissues by you, because it is an incredibly sad film, but it's also a real eye-opening film, especially if you live in the UK. It's set in the UK. It's actually set around my area in Newcastle. And it's a really eye-opening experience, and it's sort of the thing you won't see lots of films being made about. It has a great storyline. It is pretty much accurate to what actually goes on the side, and it really opens your eyes to the world around you. So for that reason, and the fact that it has great acting and was just generally a really good film to watch, I've got to give it to I, Daniel Blake. In 2017, we had the brilliant film Baby Driver. I mean, this one had to be our pick. It had to be our pick, mainly because of the music to the editing. Everything's done in sync. The editing is beautiful. The car chases are beautiful. It's like Fast and Furious. This is how you do a car chase. Those stunts. It had everything about it. It had Ansel Elgort in it as well, which is always good. It was a really good film to watch. And it had to have our 2017 pick, so our 2017 pick goes to Baby Driver. 2018, there was a few ones we could have picked, but we're going to go with an animation for 2018. And 2018 saw a new type of animation, an animation that was redefining the word animation. And that is, of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is a utterly fantastic film, probably one of my favourite Marvel films of all time. It probably is my favourite Marvel film of all time, actually. It was done by Sony's animation team. The way they reshifted the animation so that, like, literally if you pause at any moment, it looks like a comic book, is amazing. The fact that the way they did some of the animations, like the jump off the building, if you've not seen that, Google that clip, just that clip. You don't even need to see the film, just where he jumps off the building for the first time, Miles Morales. And the way they actually did it in like 3D space, they made the buildings float in midair, kind of turn, so when he jumps over, the buildings aren't really flat, so it looks incredible. The animation was amazing for a 3D film, but then it also had the comics in it, like little comic panels that they put in. It was just a beautifully crafted film and had the story to go with it, and I'm so glad they've announced they're doing a second one. I can't wait for it. So that one had to pick our 2018 pick. Finally, 2019, we're going to carry on the theme of Marvel. Marvel films you could have picked for pretty much every year. They've been some of the biggest films of the year. We're talking like honourable mentions like Black Panther. You've got the likes of Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War. But 2019 had to go to Endgame. It was the end of the MCU. It was the 23 films up to it coming together in one culmination, and all the actors there in the big battle against Thanos. It smashed box office records. It's done ridiculously well. The Blu-rays, DVDs, digital copies are all sold. Everyone's seen it. If you haven't seen it, where have you been living? Like under like 700 rocks. This film was groundbreaking on so many levels. The special effects were incredible. I mean, who would have thought the suits they go in weren't actually there. They were all added on later. It blew my mind. The story was really good. So obviously our 2019 pick will be Avengers Endgame. And that is our pick for the decade. But what is the best film of the decade? That is the question. But tell us, guys, in the field section or comment section for you newbies, what your picks are for every year. Put them in a list and we'll see who's got the best list. If you agree with ours, if you don't agree with ours, but put it down there in below. And also, at the bottom, also put which is your favourite film that's been released in this decade. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button and share it on social media so all your friends can see. If you are new to the channel and wouldn't mind clicking to that subscribe button, as I said at the start, that'd be amazing, as we are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and every little helps. We do lots of videos to do with film and TV, so if you're into any film or TV, make sure you click that subscribe button. And if you do subscribe, tell us what you want to see and we'll try and cover those videos for you. If you're already awesome and have already subscribed, thank you so much for that. That means so much to us. But also make sure you click that bell button, then you'll never miss a new video. And as always, we've been here on Gate Theories. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday with another video. Thanks for watching, guys.